Hi, everyone. I'm Georgia Barnwell. I am really glad to be here. I just want to walk you through the free resource on my page, uh, From Surviving to Thriving. And I want to do this video simply because some people prefer to watch a video or listen rather than read. So just trying to appeal to all of the different learning styles out there and to maybe make a bit of a connection with you right now. So, are you stuck in survival mode? A lot of us are. It's a crazy world. And if you're feeling exhausted, disconnected, or overwhelmed, maybe you're in survival mode. Unsure how to move forward? That's a common situation for many of us. And I'm hoping that this little toolkit will help you develop some roots so that you can move forward in a way that you would like to. So, first of all, survival mode. It's how our nervous system looks after us. We need it if there's a tiger in the room, but we don't need to get stuck there. So, these tools are going to introduce us to ways that we can gently and safely unstick ourselves. So, first of all, plant some seeds for change. We know that significant change requires consistency, and it's really easy to bite off more than we can chew. We all think, oh, we have to do everything perfectly and we have to establish a great, big, huge, perfect self-care routine. And that's a recipe for disaster. We set ourselves up for failure in so many ways. So this resource and all my programming is really focused on how can we create change small steps at a time and gently so that our nervous system doesn't rebel and so that we can create new neural networks to bring ourselves forward. So, if you've heard of the book Atomic Habits, that's one of the inspirations that I had. And essentially, small changes add up to really big change in the long run. And certainly, there is a lot more evidence and support out there for the small change process. And so I just invite you to check this out and see how it feels to you. I think one of the first thriving practices is to create safe and sacred space for ourselves. And that could be anything. It could be a house, it could be a cottage, it could be a place in the woods, it could be simply a chair somewhere in your home, maybe with a shawl put over it. You sit down in that chair, you put the shawl on, and you signal to your body, ah, I am here. This is my space. And this is where I do what I choose to do in terms of self-care. So we can sit down here and journal. We can sit down here and do all kinds of wonderful energy psychology and energy medicine tools. We can meditate. The list of self-care techniques goes on and on. But sometimes some of them feel hard to get into, and others seem to open a door where we can step in and say, ah, okay, here I am. This is my space, and this is where I choose which directions I go in and what practices I choose. So create that safe and sacred space. And it matters because tiny, predictable outcomes restore your sense of choice and momentum and create more capacity in your nervous system to hold more joy. And that's what this work is all about. And I'm licking my finger because I'm going through my notes and I don't want to forget anything. So you'll see that as I travel through each of the pages. So tapping is number 2 on my thriving practice list. And I use tapping along a continuum. I use very, very simple exercises to begin with. And then in my work with clients, I use very specific techniques aided that are guided towards helping you remove the roadblocks in your life. But at the first end, at the solid end of the spectrum, we need to create safety. We're sitting in our sacred space, and let's create a little bit of tapping safety. And I'm going to invite you just to do 1 round of tapping with me. Take 2 fingers, and we're going to tap gently where the hair starts on the eyebrow, maybe 5, 10, 15 times. And you might want to tap firmly and quickly. You might want to tap softly and slowly, or you might want to just hold that spot. I'd invite you to see what your body likes. It will tell you. And that's the second point, the side of the eye, underneath the eye, underneath the nose, underneath the lip, underneath the pointy bit in the collarbone, underneath the arm, about 4 inches down, and top of the head. And we can also tap on our fingers, or we can squeeze them. I use this one a lot. Actually, I like the finger tapping because I can sit here and tap on my fingers, and you don't know that I'm doing this to calm myself down. So, 14 points. These ones on the upper body. And we are signaling to our body that it's okay to calm down. Stimulating these points engages a neurological reflex to downregulate. That's all it does. And these are the same points that are used in acupressure and acupuncture. And they know that using those points, instead of like the elbow or the knee, actually have a physiological effect. So as that reflex to downregulate engages, we bring our nervous system into a place of safety and stability. That's the main goal of all of these practices. And I found that tapping really opened the door for me to be able to engage more efficiently or effectively in other practices like heart math or meditation and all of that. So I would invite you to do 1 round of tapping as I showed you, and then stop. Take an easy breath. Feel yourself supported by your chair. And then just gently look around your room. Notice what you see, hear, smell. This is an external orientation, and this goes together with the tapping. So the first thing we're doing here is we're inviting our body to calm down. So we're sending information to our nervous system. And then as we stop, look around, and see that there are no snakes in this room. We do not have to run or fight. That gives the nervous system the information from the tapping plus the visual external orientation. It they support, these 2 messages support each other, and the nervous system can say, "Oh, thanks for that. Okay, I'm feeling better now." And so that is the first way I would invite you to add tapping. And I have a number of other resources that you can explore on this page that will give you much more information on other ways you can use tapping and many other energy psychology and energy medicine tools that we explore throughout my work. But let's get back to the thriving practices. Thriving practice number 3. Move from disconnect and overwhelm to gentle awareness. And I have found that tapping, when it brings me to a calm state, helps me change my perspective, and have a little more awareness of what is going on for me right now. And again, this is a really important practice to introduce just in small ways throughout your day. It matters because reconnecting with awareness is really critical if we're feeling overwhelmed. We may even be so overwhelmed we don't know what we're feeling, and that's natural, but it's not pleasant and it's not helpful. So gentle tapping, bring yourself to a calm space, and then see what really is going on now. Do I need a little space? And sometimes we judge ourselves for being overwhelmed, and we judge negative feelings. We don't want to have negative feelings. We think we should have positive feelings, a positive mindset all the time. And while a positive mindset is extremely important, if it's not the truth of the moment, then we need to be aware of it. If I'm going through my day and really want to be positive, all think positive, make it happen, just think positive, don't do anything else. That really can hamper moving ahead. And it means that we're pressing down or hiding from something we don't want to feel. For example, I've got a great day planned. I've got all kinds of creative things lined up to do. And yet part of me is really annoyed because my neighbor was outside with the lawnmower at 6 a.m. And I can't get rid of that annoyance. And it's sitting on my shoulder and going, that darn neighbor, he's just driving me crazy and he's wrecking my day. And look at, I'm not getting my stuff done. Those kind of things happen to us quite frequently. And until we just say, okay, I see there's annoyance. I'm annoyed at the neighbor. Okay. Well, being aware of that, and if we've tapped a little, we're going to have a little bit different perspective. Okay. Well, the truth of the moment is I'm annoyed at the neighbor, but maybe I can do a little more tapping. Maybe I can process that annoyance. And maybe I'll come through thinking, yeah, okay, maybe I can talk to him and see if we can solve this problem. So keeping these daily practices going can step by step help us feel more comfortable with what the truth of the moment is. Oh yeah, I'm annoyed. Okay, I'm annoyed. It's a signal. It's an emotion that's trying to get my attention. It says it wants me to notice it and do something, and that's all. But once we acknowledge these troubling truths, we can usually find a way to move past them. And there we are, able to create a positive mindset. So here we go. The next thing, thriving practice number 4. Open the door to compassionate curiosity. Okay, so thinking back to that neighbor and the lawnmower, why was I so annoyed at that? I don't know. But part of myself was annoyed, and that's the way it is. And so maybe I can just hold myself in compassion and see what would make that situation with the neighbor better. Compassionate curiosity gives us space to find solutions. It's not just being nice. Compassionate curiosity is a powerful catalyst for change. And number 5, you find it. Thriving practice number 5. Move from isolation to connection. Our nervous systems are hardwired for connection. But if we're in survival mode, connection can be very troubling. If we may want to just hide from people, or we may want to punch everybody in the nose. Neither one of those are really very helpful to our well-being or theirs. So reach out to a supportive person or a community after you've done a little tapping, and just do a little bit at a time. Just one person maybe. Or let that connection start with yourself. Maybe you need to give yourself a little bit of space and time in your sacred chair here to create space for safety and regulation. And then wonder what my next connection might be that feels good. Is it calling a relative or a best friend and saying, let's just have a cup of tea. Let's talk. Sometimes that connection can start to create a whole network of new connections that make you feel safer, more confident, and more comfortable. Because healing doesn't happen in a vacuum. We need relational safely to fully thrive. And so those are 5 of really important guidelines that I have started to put into my daily practice. And I don't do huge bits of it all at once. I add these in a little bit through the day. I kind of punctuate my day by returning to this safe place and saying, okay, what's next? Do I want to connect with someone? Do I want to write in my journal? Do I want to do some breathing exercises? All of these things added into our day gently can change things very much and help us feel more grounded and safe and capable of moving forward towards our goals. So I invite you to explore the offerings on this page. I've got some half-day retreats and some longer programs where we dive into much deeper work. First of all, creating safety and stability for ourselves. And then moving on, we look at how we can find our reactive patterns and change them to something that's more nourishing. And we work also more deeply to remove the roadblocks that are standing in the way of creating the life that we want to live. And so if you have any questions, please click the link below and you can email me, or you can set up a discovery call, or you can explore the programs that are listed and just jump right in. And I hope to see you soon. All the best. Have a great day.